Birds and many insects have wings. It is their wings which take them up into the air. The wings of birds have long feathers on them. Their bones and the stems of their wing feathers are hollow. This keeps them light. Here is a bee. Here is a beetle. Here is a fly. And here is a butterfly. Bees, beetles, and flies are insects. There are very many different sorts of insects. Wing. A bird has wings, where a person has arms, and a duck and a horse has front legs. Feathers. These are feathers. Hollow, with space inside, as in a pipe or in a bowl, which is no solid. Light, of little weight. People have been attempting for thousands of years to make wings that will let them fly like the birds. Here is the picture of the first flying machine to take man into the sky, made in 1903. It did not fly very fast or very far. Now aeroplanes can fly farther and faster than the fastest bird and can carry heavy weights through the air. People can go faster than sound in the newest planes. Heavy, of great weight, opposite of light. Fast, faster, fastest, quickly. Fly, go like a fly through the air. Will fly, fly, flies, flew, flown. We can see why distances between people are not as important now as they were. They may be bridged in so many ways. What is a bridge? Here is a wide river with a bridge over it. The bridge is more than a mile long and is made of steel. It can carry very heavy weights. It is so strong that not only automobiles but trains go across it. It is so high that great ships go under it. Language is a bridge between minds, a bridge so strong that trains of thought can go across. Language can bridge distances. So, in this sense, very. So strong that. Strong enough to let. So high that. High enough to let. Will bridge. Bridge, bridges, bridged. Language can bridge time as well as space. Ideas can go from mind to mind across the language bridge, and they can come from the past to the present. We can read what people before us wrote and keep their books for others to read in the future. Here are some of the great books of all time: Bible, Gita, Homer, plays of Shakespeare, War and Peace. Books are the most important records we have of people's thoughts and feelings, their ideas and desires. Read, do reading. Write, do writing. Past, what has been before now. Present, here and now. Future, what will be. Record, store of knowledge. From records we can learn what was done in the earlier times. Will read, will write. Read, reads. Write, writes. Read, wrote, written. All people have more in common with all others on earth than most of them know. What do the word "in common" mean? What is their meaning? What do the people in this family have in common? They have their family name in common. They are the Smiths or the Wongs. They have a house in common. It is their home. The husband and wife have their children in common. In some parts of the world, a man may have a number of wives. In other parts, a woman may have a number of husbands. In these countries, the wives have their husband in common, or the husbands have their wife in common. People of the same country have that country in common. It is their country. Every country has a flag. What is the flag of your country? Meaning, sense. What words say to us is their meaning, what they mean. Flag. See picture on this page. Your flag represents your country. Will mean, means, meant. People who talk the same language have that language in common. It is their language, the language of each and all of them. They have the ideas and feelings about things which that language carries. People who do not talk a language do not know what those who use it are saying. They do not know what its words can mean. They have less in common with those who talk in than those people have with one another. Sometimes, as in India, in one country under one flag, people talk many languages. They have their country and their flag in common, but some of them have to learn the language of others if they are to have a language in common. Talking with someone is saying things to him, hearing what he says, and taking in his meaning. People can talk together only when they have a language in common. When you were very young, your parents talked to you, and after a time, you saw what they meant and learned to talk to them. A baby's first words are commonly names for its parents. Some children learn to talk earlier than others. We go on learning our language all our lives. Some people talk more than they think, and some people think more than they talk. Most of our thinking is done through language. Parent, father or mother. Commonly, most times, it is common for babies to say names for their parents first. Babies have this in common. Think, have thoughts, use the mind, have ideas. Will think, thinks, thought. There are more than 6 billion people on the earth and about 2,500 languages. Of these languages, only about 12 are used by more than 50 million people. Here are the names of some languages which have very wide use: Chinese, Mandarin and Cantonese, English, French, German, Hindi, Japanese, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, and Bengali. All these languages have more people talking them today than ever before. 200 years ago, there were only about 20 million people who talked English, for example. Now there are about 500 million, and there may be many, many more. At least that number or more. More people will learn more languages as better ways of teaching them are worked out. This book, English Through Pictures 3, is itself part of an attempt to teach English better. We need better books to learn from and better recordings of good voices to teach us how to listen to the sentences of a language and say them. Recordings of sounds are made on CDs, discs, and on tapes. Listen, attempt to hear. Attempt, make an attempt. Record, records or recordings. When played on a machine, let us hear again the sound recorded on them. Sentence, a thought put in words. A written sentence starts with a large capital letter and ends with a full stop, period, or sometimes a question mark. CD, a small plastic disc on disc, a flat circular object which is used for storing computer information. Tape, long narrow roll of plastic. Thin cloth, paper or other material. Will listen, will attempt. Listen, listens, attempt, attempts, listened, attempted. We need good pictures to teach us meaning in the new language, and good motion pictures to help many more people to learn languages quickly and well. The learners will then be able to work in groups with the help of teachers or by themselves using books, records, radio, CDs, sound motion pictures, and television. A teacher can help a learner to learn. Reading and writing can help us to think. Well, in a good way, help, something which does part of our work for us. A stick may be a help to an old man. It may help him. In groups, together with others. Group, those doing something together or having something in common. Will help. Help, helps, helped. Writing is a very much newer invention than talking. Nobody knows when people first began to talk, but they did not begin to write so far as we know, until 7,000 or 8,000 years ago. In Egypt, Mesopotamia and China, and later in Palestine and Greece, people began to make marks and pictures with sticks and sharp stones, from which others, or they themselves, later could see what they had thought. Invention. Some new thing or a new way of doing something worked out by people. Began, started, sharp, cutting, stone, a hard material or a bit of it. Much of the earth is made of stone. Some stones are round and smooth from being rolled about by water. Others are sharp, and early men made them into knives. Later, late, later, latest. Opposite of earlier, earlier, early, earliest. Will begin, begin, begins, began, begun.